Hello everyone and welcome to the video for the talent planning, for the talent management planning for 2021. This is Cami, your VPTM, and I'm gonna go through the tools that you guys need to fill out for the talent management plan for your term, and we will see and explain each part so that you guys have less doubts and less fears when facing this very important stage in your term. So first of all, the first disclaimer is that the tool is the same one that we used for the talent review. So by now you should have had the talent review with your predecessor already done. If it's not the case, then go and hurry up your predecessor to actually get the talent review done, because you're going to need it to know, to both know how many team leaders you need, how many managers, etc., and consequently the recruitment goal as well. So the tool that I sent you guys for the succession plan for the talent review, it's the same one, and you can find like different tabs that they are hidden until the official launch of the planning. So first of all, the first two tabs, let's go first from the tabs. So we have the succession plan talent review, which was the first step so that you can understand where your members are right now. For this one, you needed the 9-box, so I added here also a picture of the 9-box in case it was useful, so that you can actually understand what each one of the boxes means. Then the talent plan, which was inside the succession plan, the talent plan, which is basically understanding and drafting how the structure will look like with the analysis that you did, with the review that you did. And then the 3 new tabs that are added now are, first of all, the recruitment plan. That is a consequence of the talent review and talent plan and the local structures, actions that we're going to be driving, like team leader applications, manager applications, area allocation applications. So after all of that, you're going to have the final goal for recruitment, and this is just a help, a push for you guys to have already not the definite goal maybe, but a clear idea on where your entity is going. And then for the actual core of the talent planning, of the talent management planning, is the goals planning and the strategies planning. Okay, so these two are the most essential tabs in the tool in regards to what your entity needs to plan for next year. The first one, TM goals planning, it regards all the TM goals that are numerical and that are lead measures or lag measures for us. So you have the TM process implementation percentage, team standards implementation percentage, members achieving their goals, IXP, RXP, retention rate, productivity, education, conference representation, anything that you need to plan as a number, as something numerical that is actually measurable for TM. And then for the second part is the TM strategies. I'm going to go through each one, don't worry, but I just want to do the overview of the tool. So in TM strategies planning, here you will be able to decide which are the 3 battles that you're going to have next year. What are these 3 main battles? What are these 3 main strategies that you're going to implement? And what are the actions that will drive you to accomplish these strategies? And where are these actions going to be happening in the timeline? Cool. So this is the whole talent TM plan review tool. We try to unify everything so it can be more organized, and you have just one tool for everything that you need. So if you were present in the commission call where I explained the talent review part and the types of succession plan, talent review, and talent plan, then you can fast forward. I will put the minutes in which the actual explanation for the last 3 tabs happen. But I'm going to explain the whole thing just in case you still have any doubts, or anyone missed the call, the explanation, okay? So that everything is in one video. So for the talent review, let's start with this one. The first step is to actually understand what is the current structure that you have in your entity and how does it look like. So this is an organization chart, so that you can visually understand the size of your entity and where is your people in your entity. So the first thing is create your current structure. So for example, if you know that in OGV you have 3 team leaders instead of 2, you can just add here the rest of people that you need. Even if you need more space, you can just add rows, and you can create the whole structure based actually on what you have. Try to keep here the team leader or member part, so that then when you do the second step, you can understand who are the team leaders and who are the members. Because what's the second step? The second step is to actually color them in regards to their status. So which status does this member have right now? And you can base yourselves in the 9 books. That's why I put it here. So I put here IGV as an example. So for example, if I am Camila, I'm the MCVP. I'm sorry, I'm the VP of IGV, for example. I'm sure a VP will not be in red. I hope so, but the example here is that I'm red. So Yam, team leader, she's green. Iman is red, and Abdo is blue. So what does this mean? Maybe Abdo, he is a hyper performer. He's in the top 1. Then in the red ones, we have red flags, and William, who was green, she may be either a rocket or a star. So basically, we just divided by colors, and then you color everyone and you count. So for example, here I have 4 hyper performers, so I put 4 as an example, then 2 rockets or stars, 3 in yellow, no, 2 in yellow, 3 in orange, and 3 in red. So the idea is that you can have a more visual understanding of how many people you have in each one of the stages, in each one of the colors of the 9 books, so that you can see, okay, if the majority of my member is blue, then something I'm doing right. If the majority of my members is red, then something I'm doing wrong. What are the things that are lacking? What are the things that we need to be driving so that we can actually make people move forward to orange or to yellow, or even to green? So this is the idea. And after you do the whole thing, this little box will tell you your potential pipeline, which it is calculated basically by the sum of the hyper performers and the rockets and stars, passives, which are the yellow ones, and potential loss. It can be the oranges or red ones. These are the people that you need to be careful about, because maybe you want to keep them, but you need to take action so that they can shift their behaviors, or maybe you don't want to keep them, and they are the ones that you need to dismiss. So this is the idea for the current structure. Once you have the whole view, how many pipeline you may have, how many losses you may have, who is the people that is in each color, then you go to the action plan. So in the action plan, here there's a part of the succession plan. It's like the planning for it. It's just the actions. But then you have individual talks, for example, development plan, or showcasing the experience. So for these actions, they are part of the succession plan that you have to do. And the individual talks, it means one-to-ones with the members that you believe that want to stay in the organization, want to apply, but they are, I don't know, scared, or they think they are not prepared enough. I'm sorry. So one-to-one, having individual talks with these people can actually help them to understand and to say, okay, yes, I will stay, or okay, yes, I will take this position. Then the development plan is for, and also the ones that are not performing or actually having bad attitudes or behaviors. Maybe you can have a one-to-one to see if they can improve during this last month. And if they can't, then okay, Safi, it's time to go, to move on. Then the development plan is basically for the people that you see as potential applicants for different functions. So maybe you can have, for example, a development plan with Simo, who is in green, and we see potential for him to be OGE. So maybe you can have a development plan for him, for actions that he needs to have, that you recommend, the things that you recommend him to read, to prepare, so that maybe this person can be OGE. And for this part, like, don't be, ashamed or embarrassed to say, hey, we want you in the team, we want you to continue in the entity, we want you as a team leader because we see potential in you. Go for it. Like, this is what they need to hear. After you do all the actions, which the deadline for all the actions, I shared it with you guys in the commission call. So once they have all the actions, you will be able to understand which are the people that actually want to stay, which are the people who actually want to apply for another position. So the idea is that you draft here with these people, with the members that you have currently, where are they now? So for example, if we say she was a team leader in IGV, and we see her now as a team leader in, I don't know, in marketing, it's an example. So maybe you can just take William here and you put her here, and then if you see, for example, I don't know, this guy Ismail, he's very good, and you want him to be in the focus product so that he can actually make the focus product grow. He can go here, for example. So you can just plug and play, put the structure that you see based on what they want, based on what they are capable of, based on the potential that they have, so that you can understand what the structure may look like for the next term. Cool. And of course, do all of this with your predecessors so that you can understand better, because they're the ones who know right now the membership. So then we do like the talent review. So far, it was a talent review based on the person, the human being. How is this person acting right now? What is the performance or potential that this person has? But now let's do the talent review in numbers, in how many people we have. So the HR initial state, this whole HR analysis, it's based on the term. So you have the HR initial state from the 1st of August. So what was the initial HR for this term, for this semester? You put here. And what was the planned productivity? So in replanning, your predecessors planned what is the productivity that they want for each function and even marketing. So you should be able to get these tools and get this planned productivity with no problem. So you have here how many people and the planned productivity for each product. It will sum up how many people you started with, and then HR current state, how many you have now, how many actually you have in each position, and what productivity do you actually have right now. So it will give you the current state, how many people you have right now. For the HR lost, in here you should put how much is the people that you lost already, but also like how much is the people that you think you're going to lose in these 2 months. So maybe you're like, okay, I know that the manager for TM, she will not continue because she is moving out of the country, because that's the only reason you scholars shouldn't continue. But imagine that the TM manager says that she's moving, so okay, we lost one TM manager, we had one, so then we will have 0 and we will need one. Cool. So that's the idea. You will have the HR lost, the total one here. Once the growth paths and everything is done, we're going to put the links here also so that you can understand what is the recommended structure for you. And now let's go to the talent plan, still based on the process of the succession plan. Cool. So you have now the HR planning. So just you can put here the operations plan for the semester. Right now you may not have it, of course, because you're right now about to start with the plan. So just put at least the draft. What are the things that you think, or if they already know the goals that they wanted, you can put them here. For overall, is gonna sum it up. So I will put it in another color so that you know that this is automatic. For these ones, you just put for OGV, IGV, OGT, OGE, or marketing, for as signups and applicants, and you will have the total approval plan and total realizations plan and the productivity that you're planning based on the structure that you're planning here. So for here, you just plan the structure that you want, you can dream, and you put, based on this, it will give you how much productivity you are planning. So it is based on how many people you put here and the approval goal that you put before. So overall, it will give you the planned HR, how much people you're planning, and the planned productivity based on how much people you're planning and how many approvals you're planning. Okay, so that you can have a draft of how is it going. So if, for example, if it gives you very high, then you need to sit down again with the structure plan and say, okay, no, I need more members because I cannot make one member do 10 approvals. If it's very low, like it's 0 point something, or if it's just one also, like you will not get to your goal if you're planning such a low productivity in the term. So you can go over again and say, okay, no, maybe I need less members, or maybe I need a better structure. So you can just plan here, draft it, And finally, in the succession plan membership gap, it will appear all of the things that are gray are automatic. So here it will appear how many team leaders and how many members you're planning based on here. Okay, so on the structure plan. And same for all the areas. Now, once you launch the team leaders applications, you will have here the number of people that applied. So for example, if you had 10 people applying, just put 10 here, or in this case 3, and you had planned 4. So, okay, they applied, but did you choose them, or did you put them in another function that they didn't apply to? So here you will put how many you actually chose for this structure, and then you will have the total gap of how many people you still need. So in this case, for example, OGV, you were planning 16 members as a structure, you only got 14 reallocation applications for OGV, you chose only 10 because the other 4, I don't know, maybe you put them somewhere else, and so you will have a gap of 6 members. So this gap of 6 members, it will be your recruitment goal for OGV. That's why it is automatic. And here you can see also the percentage of team leader pipeline and the percentage of membership pipeline in regards to how many open opportunities of leadership you have and how many actually applicants you got. Then the percentage of structure accomplished, it is basically the done, like how many people you actually chose and allocated to that role, and how many you had planned. So if the structure was complete or not. And finally, it will give you overall the pipeline, the percentage of the pipeline in the whole entity, and the percentage of structure accomplished in the whole entity. So this part is kind of automatic. It's mainly the first part, and this dreaming of the structure that's kind of relevant. And then when you go to the recruitment plan, you will see here this same chart, like this same box of structure plan. It is here in the recruitment plan part. So don't move it, don't change it, because it's automatic. That's why it's all gray. And it will give you directly what is the structure plan that you planned here. And for the organizational chart, just copy paste whatever you had done and finished here in the first one. And of course, if there were changes, just edit it so that it can look exactly like the structure plan that you're putting here, so that you can have also the visual of, okay, how will my entity look like. So I will just change this here. Okay, and then afterwards you have a box here that's called members missing after reallocation. So the members missing after reallocation is going to give, it's just this gap, the team leader gap and the manager gap after their succession plan and after their reallocation. So of course we hope that we don't have any managers or team leaders missing, because those are people that we cannot recruit usually, just members. But still we need to know if we have a gap and if the structure needs to be modified, or if it was actually modified. So we will have here like automatic how many members are missing, so that you can have the goals. So here it will be, of course, the goals that you need. So for the recruitment plan, this is also automatic. It will give you like the current state you have now based on what you responded before, the planned HR based on what you planned up here, here, so how many people you have here, and the LC goal, it will be the team leaders and members gap, because maybe you will not recruit actually like a team leader, but maybe you can push someone else that right now is there to apply, and you can just fill this spot of this member by the recruitment goal. So that's why the recruitment goal is only the team leaders and members gap. Then you will need to put here once you are done with the HR recruited and the final HR. For below, what appears there is the conversions. So for the conversions, I put here the conversions that are national. Why? Because of course, if not, I will have to do a tool for each one of you guys. And so that you can actually understand what is the current state that we have as an entity right now. So for the conversions, they are based on September 2019. And we have like applied to contacted, contacted to assessment center to interview, interview to task, task to selected, interview to selected for the ones that don't have tasks and directly go from the interview to selected, and then from applicant to selected to actually understand the real conversion rate, and from selected to induction, because I saw that there was a little gap between okay, you got selected and we invite you to the induction and the person doesn't come. So as you can see, from the whole flow, our main bottleneck is here, in contacted to assessment center. So we will be tackling this when we get into the get process to see how we can improve this. So what you can do is you can keep these national ones here. Maybe we can just add the local ones below so that you can keep both. That would be good. Okay, so I will put it here so that you can have the local ones and you can just fill it out with your own information. So the day that we are not longer here, your people can still have this information. Okay, so how do you see the local conversions? You go to the tool of recruitment and you go to the, let's keep it a second. So you go to the selection process. Once you're in the tab of selection process, you will have the conversion rates of all the entities in the whole flow for the membership. Cool. So here you go. If you are, for example, I don't know, Jadida, you can see here. You can just take it and copy paste it. For example, here. Let's put keep values. And that's it. You will have the conversions for your actual entity so that you can adapt these formulas with the conversions of your entity if you want. The formulas are done with the conversions nationally, but you can adapt it. So I will just leave the space here so that you can put it. So what's the thing? In the projected conversions and how does it look like? So for 8 people inducted, so for 8 people that actually come to the induction, how many selected I need based on the conversion rate of selection to induction. So we have here like all the conversion rates, and the formulas are based on these squares, okay? So basically the idea is that if you need 8 members, for example, this is your goal, 8. So if you need 8, I think this is automatic also, yes. So if you need 8 people, you will have to select 9 because maybe one you will lose, and then to select 9, maybe you will need 17 interviews, and for 17 interviews you will need 20 assessment centers, blah 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 blah. And all of this is automatic by using the formulas here. So if you put your local conversions, you can just edit them here, okay? So as you see, these ones are linked to the national one, here and here. So you can just edit if you want to put your local ones. You can edit if you want to follow the national ones. It's also okay because it's the representation of the entity. And then the additional goal setting, like, okay, how many do we want from? Okay, so for example, here you will need 25 applicants. This is the last conclusion, so that you can actually plan your recruitment. So the goal for recruitment, everything will be done later with the get process, but I just wanted to give you here, guys, because the recruitment goal will also affect your planning. So let's go to the action planning now, and this is where the other people who already had the whole explanation would enter. I know they would enter with the recruitment plan. Well, it's fine. So the TM goals planning, how does this look like? The idea is that in TM, okay, so the main idea is in TM, we have our measurables also. So it's not just, okay, I am developing members, I am doing touch points, and that's it, this is my JD as VPTM, but it is actually understanding what are the lead measures that we need to track, that we need to keep accountable of, and how do we actually read them, and how do we actually interpret them. So for this part, the first thing is to do an assessment of how it was TM in 1920. So how much people started the term, like literally in Feb, how many people started in February, and how many are finishing, so that we can understand the whole flow of membership of HR during the whole year. Then you should put the percentage of members achieving their goals in each function, the team standards implementation in each function, how many approvals we had for IXP, for OGV, for OGE and OGT, how many total approvals we had, the productivity. So basically the productivity will be the total number of approvals divided by the people, for example, so you can have it even automatic. I think we can do an average between the initial and final HR for that. The retention rate, it can be like basically final HR divided by the initial HR as well. Team leader certified, so you have this information, your VP's team have this information, how many team leaders they got certified for each function, so you can check it out with them, and also for the NEC, so that you can get like a total overview of how much, like how good the term was in TM in regards to the lead measures. And then we go into the planning. So this is pretty simple actually, it's just filling out with numbers, but you need to base these numbers in what are the things that your entity is planning. So once you already understand the current state, because you did the talent review, because you did the talent plan, because you checked the recruitment plan, how many members we will be needing to recruit. Now that you understand the whole thing, you can actually plan what's coming next. But for planning what's coming next, you will need your operations. You will need to understand how many approvals they are planning, how many, what are the strategies that they are going to be focusing on, what are the ideas that they have, the innovations that they have. So you need to sit down with operations and in synergy, because you cannot, for example, just plan the productivity by yourself. You need to question with your VPs of the function, like, is this productivity actually something that can be achieved? Or do you actually need more members? Or do you actually need less members? Retention rate, the same. Like, okay, here you can compare how it went first in this term, and then you can plan. So maybe you need to discuss with the currents, like, what happened here? Why is this retention so low? Why do you think this happened? For IXP, for RXP, everything. So the first thing is to put here the operations goals, because this is what we need to achieve as TM. This is what we need to achieve as TM, to make operations happen, to drive operations from the back office. Then we have the TM plan, how many people we have now, how many people we plan to have, so that we can have an overview of how many people are going to actually be dealing with all of this operations plan. And finally, our measure of success and our ultimate goal, the members achieving their goals. So what is the plan that we have for the overall, the whole year? What is the percentage of our members that we want to have as achieving their goals? And since this is our ultimate measurable, now I also divided it by month. So let's put a goal for members achieving their goals in each month. There's peaks of approvals. We know that there's more chance of them achieving their goals in peaks of approvals maybe than in other peaks. So just take into account the whole timeline of operations, the goals of operations, and analyze with them what is the members achieving the goals for each month that's going to be useful to drive. Then we go into our JD things. So, okay, TM process implementation. What is the current TM process implementation that you're going to have this now after the survey that we did? And the planned one. How much do you want to achieve in each one? Because maybe your focus will be develop. Maybe you will need to develop more your people. Maybe this is the focus that you want to put as a strategy, and then keep can be lower, for example. We still need to achieve everything, like we still need to implement everything, but then how are we going to actually implement it is going to be different. Then for the team standards implementation, what is the current one and what is the planned one for each phase, building, performing, and closing. And then for productivity, what was the productivity that we got this year in the functions? What is the planned productivity that we want for this term? Again, here, of course, you will need to check the operations plan and what is the structures that they are dreaming about having, so you can actually coach them if it's good, if it's not, and what is the productivity in consequence that they will have as with the number of members that they're planning. For retention rate, the same. So what was the retention rate before? I'm planning for this year. So for example, if the retention rate was low, it doesn't mean that we have to again put a goal that is low just to achieve it. No, it means that we need to understand why it was low. What happened that made this retention rate low, and how can we actually improve it? Then for IXP, we have here first the achievement of what happened in this term and how much do we plan for the next term. So for in the first achievement part, we have the percentages here. the percentages are based on what is the percentage of your membership that went on exchange with OGV. What is the percentage of your membership that went on exchange for OGT, for example, etc. So you will have here, for example, if I have 5 and my current membership was 30, for example, it will say that I had 16% of my membership going on exchange with OGV, which is a really cool, actually, percentage. Let's hope that it happens with everyone. So it will be the same for, let's just fixate this. It will be the same for OGT and the same for OGE in this example. So you're just comparing it to the current one. You know, you will have here the total amount of people and also the total amount of percentage of your entity. Cool? And then how much you plan with the same logic. Like you plan number and you plan percentage. For RXP, how much did we plan in this semester? So for IXP, for example, for retention rate and for productivity that we actually have the data for since the 1st of February of last year, you can do everything since the 1st of February for the whole term. Now for RXP, I know that like no one planned it for the first semester, so you can just do it for the second one, okay? So since August. So what was the plan? How many was done? Actually, this one you can feel it, yes. So what was the plan? How much was done? And then for the plan for the next recruitment, so the RXPs that you plan to have from OGV, from OGT, from OGE, and the total number. And then for education, so how much do you plan to have of the team leaders educated, certified in the capacity building, and percentage of HR certified for NEC, which would be team leaders and members, and let's hope also managers for back office for next year. Then the percentage of local education cycle, how much percentage you want your people to be educated in local education cycles as well. So these two, we will be able to track it because of the actions that we're doing right now nationally, as we have done. Of course, maybe there will be improvements, but we already learned how to track it. Now for this one, you will need to understand if you're going to be tracking the assistance of the person to the touch point, or if you're going to be tracking with a quiz, or if you're going to be tracking based on, I don't know, the actions that they are taking later, if they are actually transmitting that they know or not. It depends, like whatever is the way that you want to actually get this done. And for the conference representation, it is very important that we actually plan how many people are going to go to these conferences. Why? Because it is part of education. Like these two go hand by hand. So the conference representation is not only representing our entity, representing the culture of our entity, and actually, you know, being present, which of course it is very important, but it's also the moment when your membership are going to have a lot of education, a lot of functional education, because there's functional tracks in every conference, but also lead spaces, which is basically one of the things that we need to develop in our membership, like even is part of team standards, and also soft skills like time management, like energy management, I don't know, goal setting, a lot of things that maybe in national conferences we can actually deliver. So plan, for example, NLC, it is only EBs and it's not your term yet, but I still want everyone to go, like the whole EB. This is the goal that you guys should have. So for example, how many people you're going to have, so example 5, and then what is the percentage that it represents from your membership, as we did before. For Morocco, how many people you will have, for Samarco, how many people you will have, and in total. Cool? So basically, it's just dreaming about what is the HR gonna look like, okay, for next year. And for the last part, we have the strategies. So for the strategies, we have, first of all, you need to follow the goals that are planned here and the goals that are planned in operations. So TM cannot establish any strategies or any goals until operations does their planning. So you really need to be working in synergy. Like, of course, you can start, you can draft stuff based on the review, based on how this term was, etc. But then these will need to adapt to the goals of operations. This is something that you really need to understand. TM needs to be side by side with operations. You need to sit down with your VP OGV, with your VP IGV, with your VP marketing. What are the things that they're planning for next year? How can you support as TM? How many people will they need? What is the structure that they will need? etc. Okay, so all of this needs to happen. Those conversations need to happen between you guys. And then you need to establish what are the strategies that you're going to have, the three main battles that you're going to be pushing for. Okay, so you are going to choose them, you're going to put them here, and then you're going to plan the actions so that these strategies actually happen. So for this, we have decided upon 4DX so that you guys can learn how to plan for 4DX. So this is basically what you need. You need to establish a widely important goal. What is this widely important goal that you need to achieve? For us, it could be, for example, the percentage of members achieving their goals in your entity. Which one is the percentage that you want? This could be your widely important goal. And that's what are the strategies that are going to be supporting that. For each strategy, you should have a lag measure, which is what is this measurable, this objective that we have for this strategy, that it's going to tell us if the strategy was successful or unsuccessful. For the lead measures are the milestones that we need to be accomplishing time after time so that we can actually get to that lag measure achieved. So are the little milestones that we have on the way. So if, for example, if the lag is approvals, then the leads would be accepted, applicant, lead, for example, not lead, sign up. So this would be an example for lag and lead measures. For us, for example, okay, you can see it in the recruitment plan. This is a clear example of lead and lag measures. Your lag measure is the number of members you need, where the lead measures everything that comes before it. The one for applicants, for contacted, for assessment center, for interview, all those little goals are lead measures that are going to tell you if you're doing your job right. So then you're going to plan the actions. So what are the actions that are going to actually be involved in this strategy? Who is the person responsible to deliver this action? What are the synergies that they need and in which deadline? And of course, you can paint it here in the timeline, which is going to make it much more visual for you. So for example, if you're going to see that this month, I don't know, this week in Feb, you're seeing your week like this, all yellow. This is very critical. It means that you will not be able to accomplish any of this. Like, you usually need to decide on your focuses for each week and decide on your battles that you're going to drive for each week. So this is why the visual part of the timeline is very important, so that you can understand where are the moments that you need to see and say, no, maybe this I need to move it a little bit further from here, because in this week I will not be able to do all of this. Or because I need an action that should happen before, but I planned it for afterwards, for example. So just that there's a correlation between actions and everything. And the last thing that I want to say is, like, the actions need to be actual actions, like things that you do, like you are moving and you're doing, okay? What do I mean by this? It means that I cannot put as TM, for example, NEC. Because NEC is not an action, it's a thing. So for example, what would be part of NEC? So it would be create the NEC quiz tool, for example. Create the NEC quiz. Create the NEC tool to track the quizzes. Create the materials for education. 10 materials, for example. Film the videos. Upload it in the platform. These are actions. These are actions. These are things that I say, I will upload this now, I will create this now, and work on this now. And I can clearly say if it was done or not done. If I put NEC, it's too broad, and I will not be able to tell you if it was done or not done. So this is a very important point as well, that is going to help you a lot. In my first planning as VP, I remember I put all things like that were not measurable at all, and it was so bad, and I didn't know what to do, where to start from. So this is going to help you a lot. So that's it, guys. This is basically the explanation for the whole tool. If you have any questions, you can approach me, of course, and I will close this because it's the longest video ever. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for already being super engaged with me in the group and for always striving for excellence. And let's keep this up for the next term. I will see you guys soon. If you have any questions, let me know.